Hey there YouTube. So in this video I wanted to cover the IRS Form 966. This is the form for corporate dissolutions or liquidations. So if you have a U.S. corporation, so this is let's say a regular corporation, for-profit corporation formed under state law, or if you have an LLC that filed an election to be taxed as a C Corp, if you close down that entity, you will need to file this Form 966 within 30 days after you adopt a plan or a resolution to close down the company. So I want to run through the form, the various elements, and the things you need to include with it just to make sure you're doing this as correctly as possible. So the top of the form is relatively straightforward, right? We have the name of the corporation here. Obviously, I've got a fake company, fake Delaware Company, Inc. Not a real business, so don't use this. The mailing address for the company, the EIN for the company, and the type of return we're filing, right? So this is a standard C Corp return, so 1120. If you have an S corporation that's being dissolved, you would have to do 1120S. One thing to note though is you do not file this for S corporation subsidiaries. It's only if it's an S corporation parent company that you would file this form. So in this case we have just a regular Delaware for-profit corp, so we have 1120 marked. And so the other fields here, we have date incorporated, September 25th, 2018. The place it was incorporated, so Delaware, USA. It's a Delaware company. And the type of liquidation here, so this is a complete liquidation, right? The company is selling off all its assets, ceasing operations, paying off all liabilities, and then if any cash is available afterwards, it's going to distribute that money out to the shareholders as a liquidating distribution. So the date the resolution was adopted was May 15th, 2021. The resolution, so generally corporations, this has to be approved by the board, right? So the board will basically draft what's called a plan of liquidation and dissolution. It'll contain various terms, they'll sign it, and it'll set a plan to liquidate the assets and dissolve the company. So field 5 here, service center where the corporation filed its immediately preceding tax return. So for the 2020 tax return, it was e-filed, so it's okay to put e-filed in there. If you paper filed it, put down the IRS service center where you paper filed the form. But most taxpayers are e-filing it now, so it's okay to indicate that you just e-filed the Form 1120. And then, of course, last month, day, and year of the immediately preceding tax year. So we're dissolving the company in 2021, so it means the last full year we filed for taxes was the 2020 tax year, and that was a December 31 year end. And so in line 7A here, last month, day, and year of the final tax year. So in this liquidation plan, it was signed May 15th, and within it, the liquidation period, the board specified that no later than 90 days after filing this document was the company going to exist, right? So basically, this plan was approved May 15th, and the company has 90 days to basically wind everything up. So the final tax return, the close of the year, is going to be August 13th, 2021. Right, so obviously it can't be December 31, 2021 because the company won't exist to December 31, 2021. So August 13th is kind of when they set their final day to close out the tax year. And so the 1120 tax return needs to be filed within 3.5 months following the close of the year end. So they're going to have to file that Form 1120 within 3.5 months after or following August 13th. And of course, if it can't be done by then they can always file an extension via Form 7004. Right. And 7B was the corporation's final return filed as part of a consolidated return. No, not in this case. And then so for 7C and D and 7E, they can indicate, not applicable, or in 7E, I mean, this is, you can leave this blank likely. I mean, e-file is kind of pre-populated here, but the consolidated return is not being filed, so you can just leave that blank. In line 8, total number of shares outstanding at the time of the plan of liquidation. In this case, it was a closely held C Corp, so not much stock outstanding, just 1,000 shares. Any amendments to the plan of dissolution? No amendments. So you can put 0 or not applicable. That's fine. The code section for the dissolution. So IRC Section 331 is the standard dissolution for just a complete liquidation and dissolution of the company. That's fine. And then line 11, they're asking if this form concerns an amendment or supplement to a resolution or a plan that was already filed, enter the date that the previous Form 966 was filed. So in this case, this is the first one we're filing, so this is not applicable as we're not filing a second or third amendment here. This is the very first one. And then you have to attach a copy of the resolution or plan and any and all amendments. So you're filing this form, an officer should sign, put their title and date, and then of course, like it says here, attach a copy of the board resolution or plan of liquidation and dissolution, and mail this off to the IRS. So this is the first step as far as IRS tax filings when you want to dissolve a corporation, and then of course be mindful of when you actually file the final tax return. So get this thing out within 30 days of the date of resolution or plan of liquidation. And then obviously once the liquidation is completed and the company has completely ceased operations and distributed out all cash, if any, to the shareholders, then you go ahead and file a final tax return for the company. So that'll be a Form 1120. It'll be marked final, right? That'll make sure that the IRS knows that this is a final return, and they shouldn't expect to receive any more tax returns under this name and EIN. Okay, so that covers it for Form 966. Thank you for watching. I hope it was helpful. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment below on the video. Happy to answer those whenever I can, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you.